Okay, here we are. Take two.
Yeah, we're having technical issues over here, so we're gonna hope this one works.
Yes, we got how far in?
Like 25 minutes.
Oh my. So now we got to start over. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
This podcast is called Baby's First Watch List.
You're like yelling. If you don't know.
It's the podcast that is dealing with a whole bunch of stuff right now. So things are the way they are because we didn't watch the movie. We had to watch it in 2 parts.
Across like 5 days.
We messed up. I'm starting a new job.
We didn't mess up.
We messed up because it didn't record.
It messed up.
It messed up. General it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like starting my job again and we're figuring out daycare and there's like all kinds of stuff going on.
But we're recording on a 3-day weekend.
It is a 3-day weekend. So today we're discussing Tom's favorite movie, 2004's
Well, it's up there.
The Notebook.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Tom watched with a girl.
Yeah, it's true.
He said it wasn't like that.
It really wasn't.
Okay, I'm just saying I didn't watch. Actually,
Neither
I did watch it with girls.
Neither was the time that I watched the movie Wrong Turn with a girl.
Oh Lord. Okay.
It was trash.
So this wait, did you like The Notebook the first time you saw it?
No.
Oh, did you like it more or less this time?
About the same.
Oh wow, no growth.
Correct.
The romantic drama was directed by Nick Cassavetes, who also directed My Sister's Keeper. If you have seen My Sister's Keeper and you also read My Sister's Keeper, you know that just like The Notebook, they just changed the ending.
And the ending in My Sister's Keeper was like
the book.
the calling card of the book.
So I'm going to tell you the spoilers to it. So in My Sister's Keeper, if you don't like spoilers, move ahead. In the book, I didn't even read this book. I was just shook by these differences. So now it's marked in my brain. There's like sisters and one of them has cancer. And then the other one at the end of the book gets into a car accident and dies. And she's able to do something like either an organ or a blood transfusion or something so that the other sister, the one that's sick, lives. And she's the reason why her sister lives. It's a kidney?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Jodi Picoult wrote it, right?
Yep.
And in the movie version that stars Cameron Diaz, the sister that's sick just dies at the end. There's no car crash. There's no like big twist.
Poor Abigail Breslin.
What are we doing here? She's the sister that lives in the movie.
Oh.
So,
who dies? So are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no, I didn't watch the movie either, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So
we'll go with that.
I don't understand that. And then they changed the ending to The Notebook, but
is Cameron Diaz the mom?
Cameron Diaz is the mom.
Abigail Breslin's the older sister, and then Sofia Vasilyeva is the younger.
Yep, exactly. So whatever. They just changed the ending from the source material. I guess that's just a thing that they do.
But it's usually there's a purpose to doing that, and I don't see a purpose in My Sister's Keeper.
Me either. In The Notebook, yeah, sure. But
Yeah,
in
I
My
guess.
Sister's Keeper, no. So anyway, this director's dad, John Cassavetes, he was an actor. He was in movies like The Dirty Dozen and Rosemary's Baby, which unfortunately is a very good movie.
Yeah.
He also was a director and a screenwriter.
One of the first indie directors.
Did we know anything he did?
I believe so.
Really? I didn't think so.
I don't know if I've seen much of it, but go ahead, keep going.
So, The Notebook is based on a novel by Nicholas Sparks.
Yeah, so the ones that I've heard of are Gloria and A Woman Under the Influence and The Killing of a Chinese Bookie.
Okay. So Nicholas Sparks, North Carolina man, that's like a whole thing because like a lot of his books are set in North Carolina. He has cursed us with close to a dozen near identical movie posters of beautiful people staring at each other, wondering if they did in fact just make an awful movie. And in most cases, they did.
The answer, yeah.
The answer is
in the affirmative.
yes, they did make an awful movie. I gotta say though, I have not seen many.
No, we're
Nicholas
joking
Sparks.
We're joking about the
adaptations.
reputations more than actually our experiences.
Right, exactly. So the screenplay for The Notebook was written by Jeremy Levin and Jan Sardi. Levin also wrote My Sister's Keeper, so he's the one to blame.
The dynamic duo. Nikki C. And what's the guy's name?
Nikki. Who's Nikki?
Nick Cassavetes.
Oh. So Jeremy Levin also wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance. Isn't that like a golf movie?
I think so.
And he wrote Real Steel, which is Huge Jacked Man.
Huge Jacked Man.
Jan Sardi, he was Oscar nominated for writing the 1996 Jeffrey Rush movie Shine. But I had never heard of it. But it's like a biopic of like a musician.
Like a pianist.
Yeah. So the cinematographer Robert Froise, how do you say it? Fraisse.
I don't know.
Is that like strawberry?
Maybe it might be.
So he was Oscar
from
nominated.
looking at the packages, sometimes it says it in French.
Yeah. He was Oscar nominated for 1992's The Lover, which I didn't know either. And editor Alan Heim, he won an Oscar for All That Jazz, which is actually a very famous
Shout out
movie.
Roy Scheider from our Jaws episode.
We do love Roy Scheider here.
Roy Scheider, #1 fan podcast.
The music is by Aaron Zigman, who has done lots of music for movies and TV, including John Q, Sex and the City. He did Aquila and the Bee. He's done lots of TV shows, and he apparently has been involved in many hit albums.
Can I just say that this is maybe the most boring score of all time in this movie?
It is very slow. There is no actual interesting stuff. There's nothing memorable.
No, there's no like things that come back later.
It's very soft, so you're like, what? You're like,
but then it randomly like swells and it's like way louder than everything else in the movie.
There's this random like crescendo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So anyway,
Zegman. What's his name?
Aaron Zigman.
Sorry, Zigman.
So The Notebook stars Ryan Gosling in like one of his first kind of big roles.
He got better.
The director, I think, said that he wanted an unknown, not handsome man.
So he chose Ryan Gosling.
I'm like, okay. Rachel McAdams, again, in an earlier role of hers. I think she was in The Hot Chick.
Oh, boy, was she.
I think so. James Garner, very famous. And Nepo mom, Gina Rowlands. It's the JK
I'm probably going to
syndrome.
go with Rowlands.
Rowlands. So she is actually the director's mom.
Yeah. She's also mega famous.
She is still alive, and she was like an OG.
They said that on Wikipedia it says she's like the last remaining actress from the Hollywood Golden Age era from like the 50s.
Yeah, because Olivia de Havilland, remember her?
Yeah.
She just died recently.
Was it recent?
Ish.
Yeah.
She was in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, and her half-sister was
famous. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Who it was.
But Gina Rowlands, she is still around. She's retired, but she was in so much stuff.
Joan Fontaine is her sister.
Oh, okay, yeah. Olivia de Havilland.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they hated each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So The Notebook also stars a lot of other famous people. The cast is sort of stacked. So it's got James Marsden, who
of Jury Duty fame.
We love James Marsden over
He's good.
here. Kevin
Cyclops.
Connolly. We love Kevin Connolly.
Yeah, we're big E from Entourage fans, and 2018's Gotti.
Yeah, he
the
directed
director.
it.
Thank you, Kevin Connolly.
Sam Shepard,
Yes.
who has like a ton of Obie awards for like theater.
Yeah.
And someone we actually are obsessed with, Joan Allen.
Joan Allen's awesome.
We love Joan Allen.
She's like
here.
the best actress in this movie.
Gorgeous. We love her. That's why I wrote Queen Joan Allen on my thing today. So the normally fine, but in this case endless,
interminable
124-minute movie. It's over 2 hours for a romance.
Yeah.
We got to get in and out here. We can't be doing a whole 2 hours.
I gotta go home.
Like, come on. It was released in May 2004 to kind of mixed reviews. I think it was 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was, however, a hit commercially. They called it a sleeper hit. It made $117.8 million on a mere $29 million budget. The movie wasn't up for any major awards, but it did memorably win the MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. I watched that and I was like, wow, I can't believe it. They won for the best movie ever made, number one, The Notebook, because that was I was obsessed. And number two, they actually kissed for the award.
Yep, and then it became a tradition.
So cute. And then it also batted 1,000. I was going to say 100.
Batted 100. 1 for 10.
It went 8 for 8 at the Teen Choice Awards. The teens loved it. They said, clean sweep.
Listen, we're the teens, and we have spoken.
8 for 8. A stage show with music by Ingrid Michaelson is due to hit Broadway in the next year or so. You know, I think my Uncle Tommy has seen Ingrid Michaelson a couple times in concert.
Really?
Yeah.
She's just like some indie artist.
I really think so. So, I mean, I don't know how I feel about a Broadway show.
I mean, I just don't think there's anything that compelling here.
I don't think there's any need for it personally. I think Ingrid Michaelson's an interesting choice. But
there is more need for the Broadway show than there is for the TV series that was due to come out.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to be on the CW, and which is honestly the perfect network for a Notebook TV show. But it was also supposed to deal with like race issues after World War II in like North Carolina or wherever they're at. Or South Carolina, wherever they're at. And I don't know if that would have been the right way
to tackle those important
tackle
issues.
those issues, or B, to have a Notebook series.
I mean, Riverdale just ended, so there might be a time slot open.
Oh man, we're gonna replace Riverdale with this.
Nothing can replace Riverdale.
Oh man. Sorry to all my Riverdale heads out there. My Jughead heads.
Oh my god. So that's The Notebook. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine.
It's
I
garbage,
didn't like it as much as I used to like it. Now I'm just like, eh. But you know, I thought the second half was a little bit better. I like the
there was less
old
Ryan
people.
Gosling and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, unfortunately, they weren't my faves. But
Ryan Gosling also wears the worst hat in human history in this movie in the beginning.
He yeah. I feel like that's a hat that like nowadays people make their like little kids wear when they take like family photos with like suspenders.
It felt like he was wearing a costume, and it felt like somebody made a way too big like Peaky Blinders hat.
Yeah.
And was like, just throw it on your head, Ryan. We don't have anything else.
It's like the Peaky Blinders big hat version of like those big hats.
The big hats that people are wearing. But nobody's wearing. But like every now and then you'll see somebody wearing like the giant hats. Like
they're like baseball hats.
They're baseball hats, but they're giant. And they are actually, it's the company of an NFL player.
Maybe you should wear it to officiate Kaylee and Alex's wedding.
I wanted to wear it to John's bachelor party in Vegas, and we never got one.
Well, they cost like $80.
And they were on back order because so many people were ordering them.
Maybe when I start my own fantasy football league, that'll be like the loser has to wear it.
Winner gets it.
The winner. Okay, well, first the loser has to wear it in public, like someplace like just going Target shopping. And then the winner gets to keep it until the following year as like a trophy.
Yeah.
I think that's
as long as they clean
idea.
it after the other person's worn it to Target.
Yeah, of course. You do a little cleaning action.
Lice killer or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So that's The Notebook. Why don't we get a very short summary?
All right, so we start in a nursing home, and it's the elderly Duke, played by James Garner, and he's reading a romantic story from a notebook to a female patient, played by Gina Rowlands. And it's the story in the 1940s in South Carolina. Noah Calhoun, played by Ryan Gosling, is a lumber mill worker, and he pursues 17-year-old heiress. I don't think we know heiress to what.
I had no idea
her parents come from money. Allie Hamilton, played by Rachel McAdams, and she's there for the summer with her parents. So he pursues her by hanging by his hands off of a Ferris wheel in front of her and saying he's going to drop himself unless she says she'll date him. So that's something. Then on their first date, he makes her like lay down in the middle of the road with him. That's also something.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I would be like, dude, just chill. So one night, Allie meets Noah's father, Frank, who immediately likes her. But when Noah goes to Allie's parents, they disapprove because of his sort of economic ranking. per se. So that night, he takes Allie to the abandoned, like a Windsor building, telling her that he's going to buy and restore it. And, they sort of hook up. And Noah's friend Finn pops by, and he says, Allie's parents have no idea where she is, and she's 17 years old, so they sent the police after her. So good luck with that. When Allie and Noah get back to Allie's parents' mansion, Allie's mother, Anne, played by Joan Allen, makes it clear that they are against their relationship and forbid her from seeing him. So they get into a big fight. She impulsively breaks up with him and immediately regrets it. The next morning, Anne says that the family will be returning to Charleston immediately. Allie tries to find Noah, can't find him. It's sort of cross signals. She asks Finn to tell him she loves him. Noah rushes to her house, but everything's already boarded up and she's gone. Noah writes Allie every day for a year, but Allie's mother secretly intercepts the letters. When all of the letters go unanswered, he decides to move on. He ends up serving in World War II with Finn. Finn gets killed on the battlefield, which just seemed really, why?
There's so much in this movie that is just weirdly intense and unnecessary.
Yeah. So Allie's a nurse in the hospital helping injured soldiers, and she meets Captain Lon Hammond Jr., played by James Marsden, and he's a young lawyer, and he comes from old Southern money. So they become engaged, and Allie's parents are happy about it, super excited. Noah returns from the war to find that his father sold their house so that Noah could buy the building.
That also was weird.
Yes. So he does his best Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams. If you build it, she will come. And he rebuilds the house, and sure enough, she sees it in the newspaper for whatever reason that they had a picture of him in the newspaper.
They're like, wow, you put paint on this house. Take your picture.
Yeah, so she shows up, and they sort of rekindle their relationship, although they kind of don't.
But she's also engaged.
Yeah. So they realized that Noah had sent her all those letters and she never received them, and she was like, oh, it's definitely my mom. So days later, her mom shows up. She's also just been with him for days. She shows up and says that Lon has come to the area, but she also takes Allie in down the road or whatever, and goes to this random work site, and she's like, oh, that guy over there who's throwing all those rocks into that big machine, I actually was in love with him. And Allie's like, what? And so she gives Allie the letters. They go back, and she says that she hopes that Allie chooses wisely, sort of maybe inferring that she made the wrong choice, or maybe inferring that she made the right choice by being with Allie's dad, or not. We don't know.
Don't know.
Noah and Allie argue, and he tells her to decide what she wants as opposed to what her parents or Lon wants. She is super upset. She drives away. Then she stops and she reads all the letters. She's crying. She follows her heart and returns to Noah. In the present, the elderly woman is revealed to be Allie, now suffering from dementia. Duke is revealed to be Noah, who uses a pseudonym to not startle her. The journal he reads to her was one that she wrote during the early stages of her illness, detailing their romance and life together so he could help her come back to him. Noah has kept the promise to read it to her almost daily. So almost at the end of the journal story, she says, okay, well, what happens at the end? Well, it's just wait, I'm almost there. But anyway, Noah says that she knows what will happen and that they lived happily ever after. Allie briefly recognizes him and remembers. She asks how long they have before she forgets again, and Duke tells her possibly 5 minutes, and then they dance to their song, I'll Be Seeing You, and she asks about their kids. Then her dementia relapses. She panics to see a stranger touching her. She gets sedated. Duke has a heart attack. It's a whole big thing. And they're both recovering. Duke sneaks into Allie's room in the night. She instantly recognizes him. They kiss and hold hands. The nurse finds them in the morning, still holding hands as they both died peacefully in their sleep.
The birds,
credits roll.
The birds fly away.
If you're a bird, I'm a bird.
Wow.
The end. The Notebook.
The Notebook. Good job.
Film.
Okay. Is this a romantic film?
I mean, every romance is like this movie. It's just too cookie cutter for me. It's not that it's not in itself. If you view it in itself, sure, it's romantic. And I think that there's elements of realism to it, like the fact that they don't always agree on stuff, and it's not like they're being held apart by external forces. They're being held apart by themselves, really, or at least by Allie and her
indecision.
Yeah, which in part is, I guess, generated by external forces, but it comes down to her making a choice. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's romantic that you choose to be with somebody, actively choose to be with somebody, in the face of a more attractive situation, like with money and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That is romantic, but it's every point in this movie is predictable.
Yeah.
It's just not. It doesn't do anything new or different. So I mean, it's not like I'm sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I was when I was like 13.
Yeah.
I was shooketh.
You were like, this is what a movie could be.
I literally was like, wait, is this the best movie I've ever seen? So if a date in college wanted you to take them to see The Notebook, and it was 2004, would you take your date to go see The Notebook?
First date, absolutely. Fifth date, can we pick something else?
What else was like out in 2004?
Mean Girls.
Oh, I'd go see. I saw Mean Girls in theaters actually.
Let's see. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think that I don't know if I would want to see The Notebook on a date.
I'm just saying. Well, the
because I would be crying.
The control here was that you said they do want to see it, so I'm assuming that the person that I'm allegedly dating would want to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Movie's released June 25th, 2004.
Okay.
White Chicks.
Oh, I liked White Chicks.
Fahrenheit 9/11.
Oh.
So pick your date movie.
I don't know about these choices.
The weekend box office. Dodgeball was out.
Okay.
The Terminal. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Shrek 2. Garfield the movie. The Day After Tomorrow. The Stepford Wives. The Chronicles of Riddick. Napoleon Dynamite was still hanging in there.
I've seen most of those movies, actually.
Mean Girls had already been out, but it was still hanging in there. It was like it's.
Well, which one would you want to go see?
14th week. Dodgeball. Easy.
You would take Dodgeball to you would take a date to Dodgeball?
Yeah. Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an interesting answer.
I mean, what do you want from me? What are we gonna go? What are we gonna do?
Garfield.
The Day After Tomorrow.
Garfield.
Yeah, Bill Murray's regret from Zombieland. Garfield, I guess.
So okay, you think that this isn't Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams' finest moments?
Correct.
Start with Rachel McAdams. What are her best roles?
Well, last time I totally forgot about Mean Girls, which is why I
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is probably her best. There's also the one that I talked about in our first run through this was Wedding Crashers, because I thought that her and Owen Wilson sort of held the movie together for all the crazy characters like Vince Vaughn's character and Isla Fisher and Walken and the grandma and
they
the brother.
Keep it grounded.
Yeah, and Bradley Cooper. Like they keep it being a movie.
Right.
And I think that's an underrated skill to have.
Yeah.
And I think that's when she's best positioned. I don't think she's best positioned as being the person who kind of goes off the map. Although she did in Mean Girls, so maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you're wrong.
But
what else is Rachel McAdams in?
I'm looking at her Wikipedia
Spotlight,
right now.
She's good in.
There's a couple that we saw her in that we didn't mention the last time.
Okay.
State of Play with Russell Crowe.
I didn't like that movie that
I thought
much.
you did like that movie.
Wait, did I like that movie?
That's the one you liked.
Oh,
with
I like
Ben
that
Affleck. When
Yeah.
he's the congressman.
I liked that movie.
And it's like sort of what House of Cards season 1 was based off of.
I did like that movie. You're right.
She was in Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
Those were fine.
She's not a standout, though.
No. Spotlight we talked about.
I do like Spotlight, and she's good in that.
Game Night she's really good in.
She is. So she's funny. She's a comedy queen.
Yeah, and Eurovision.
She's a comedy queen.
She's pretty good in comedies. Now, I did not see
The Vow, awful.
The Vow, About Time.
I did not see that.
With
some people kind of like it.
With our guy
Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason. Southpaw she was in.
Oh,
she was in Doctor Strange, which I saw, but I don't even remember her in that. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Oh, I do want to see that.
Time Traveler's Wife.
Oof.
Yeah. So she's hit or miss. Midnight in Paris. Her and Owen. That's not her best moment and not Owen Wilson's best moment.
I hated that movie.
I did not like that movie whatsoever. It was insufferable because it's a Woody Allen movie and he's like trying to do the tortured artist thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, we know you're trying to write this about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care.
Nobody knows who you're talking about. It's
right.
The 20s. Like, nobody knows what the 20s are. And it's 100 years ago. And
then we talked about True Detective.
Yeah.
Which apparently season 2 is having a bit of a revival.
Oh, Renaissance in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, I didn't love it.
Me either. Anyway, what about
Another
Ryan?
Wedding Crashers reunion because Vince Vaughn was in that.
What are Ryan Gosling's best roles?
Barbie.
Ken. He's Ken up.
He's just Ken.
He's just Ken.
But no, he's been in a lot of great stuff. Blue Valentine.
Blue Valentine is an all-time great movie.
Yeah.
So good.
Crazy Stupid Love.
He's so good in that.
Drive. He's good in.
He's like this.
Why didn't you buy me the Scorpion jacket ever?
Do you want me to?
No. No, that would be so weird. The Ides of March.
Good movie, actually. Fun movie. Very
Yes.
fun movie.
Yes. The Big Short.
Yeah.
He did The Big Short, The Nice Guys, and La La Land back to back to back.
All
which
of those
is-
are
which is
good
a
movies.
solid trio.
La La Land, he's like dancing.
City of Stars.
City of Stars.
And then he's doing the song with John Legend.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like fire. And I'm like, and the whole thing is that like the song is so bad and he's lost all his like creativity. I'm like, this song kind of
That
slaps.
song rules. Blade Runner 2049, which he did the same thing as he did in Drive, which was kind of just
It's just gonna be boring.
stare off gloomily and handsomely into the night.
Yes, but the difference is with Drive, it was neon colors on him,
Yeah.
and in Blade Runner,
It was like smoky oranges and stuff.
exactly. Could you
And-
imagine eating a smoky orange?
It's like an orange that tastes like a cigar.
Yeah.
No, I can't actually. And like there's like giant AI Ana de Armas
Yeah.
in that movie, and he's just like,
Yeah, he's just so bored.
yeah. And then he was in The Gray Man, which people apparently watched,
A lot of people watched it.
allegedly.
We didn't.
No.
I do want to see him in Half Nelson.
Yeah, which I haven't seen. You said Lars and the Real Girl.
That was good
I
too.
also haven't seen.
Like quirky. And then of course he was Sunshine and Remember the Titans.
Yes.
Denzel. I like that movie. So that's lots of good stuff there.
Yeah. He's been in a variety of things.
Yeah. How did we get onto the Jason Clarke Kyle Chandler talk last time?
I don't remember.
Yeah. That's so random.
He was in one of both of them were in one of the movies that I talked about. But I don't remember which one.
Okay. Because we talked about Jason Clarke, but I can't talk about Jason Clarke if we don't know the Jason Clarke connection.
The Jason Clarke connection. You
Connection.
didn't do the New Jersey connection this time.
Honestly, it's so bad.
It's like a 6 degrees of New Jersey connection.
Is Jason Clarke from New Jersey?
Is Jason? I don't think so.
He seems kind of New Englandy to me. He's Australian.
They were in the one movie I didn't mention, First Man.
Oh, yeah. Okay. First Man was good. It was fine.
It was fine.
And it stars my king, Kyle Chandler, and my other king, Jason Clarke. And so here's the thing. Oh, he plays Jerry West.
Jason Clarke's from Australia.
Yeah, I know. I said that.
Oh, sorry.
He's Jerry West in Winning Time.
Oh, really?
So more people might know him, actually. He also was like the lead in Chappaquiddick. I think he played Ted Kennedy.
Okay. He did.
There you go. So Jason Clarke, if you don't know, you better
Get
find
acquainted.
out. Get a clue. He is. Oh, he was in Zero Dark 30 too.
They both were.
Oh,
Kyle
he-
Chandler was too.
Remember him in Mudbound?
Barely. I remember liking that movie, but I don't really remember it that much.
So basically, Jason Clarke is where it's at.
He's one of those guys that you recognize maybe, and you've seen him in 55 things, and then you're like, wait a minute, what's that guy's name?
It's Jason Clarke.
Yeah.
You better not forget, and especially
Better
remember.
redneck and nice.
And you better remember, there's an E at the end.
Yes.
Clark with an E.
We are begging Jason Clarke to come on this podcast.
He's gonna be in the next Wind River.
Oh, is he? Which I am not excited about.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
None of the original people are involved in it.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right. So my last question here. You are forced to watch a second Nicholas Sparks movie.
Oh my lord.
You can choose 1, 2, or 3 that you would watch. I can give you my answers.
I think I have my answer.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to do that, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1. Number 3, I choose The Last Song because Miley
Is that the Miley
Cyrus
Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth one?
Number 1, Miley Cyrus's character has a weird name in it.
Oh, Galadriel
Why is
from Lord of the Rings.
Why is that her name? And also because that led to a whole big, like, they were married. It was a whole thing.
No,
I
wait,
know
that's
they're-
not her name in that.
Oh, you told me her name was Galadriel.
That's from the article
What?
that I read. Wait, who is Galadriel, a.k.a. Blaze from the last song?
What?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Galadriel? Who is Galadriel? Okay.
It was Cate Blanchett in Lord of the Rings.
Anyway, the song, there's a song that comes from that she did. So I'll pick that. Number 2, I pick A Walk to Remember because I did not see that ever. And it was a very popular movie for people to see in high school. That one stars Mandy Moore and I think Shane West. And she plays a high school girl who gets diagnosed with cancer, and she decides to just like not do any treatments and to not tell anybody. And then she like marries her boyfriend.
She probably should have told somebody.
You'd think. And then number 1, I choose Nights in Rodanthe.
Okay.
Oh, I also would do Message in a Bottle though.
That's the one with Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Where he gets killed by a mudslide. Spoilers.
No.
Oh, that's a different one.
That's Nights in Rodanthe, where Richard Gere gets killed by a mudslide.
Okay.
No, Kevin Costner drowns.
Oh.
In,
yeah, because
Message
he
in a
goes into the
Bottle.
water.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we read all about them before.
So I choose Nights in Rodanthe because I like an unfaithful reunion.
Okay.
And Richard Gere and Diane Lane.
Okay, I can take that. Unfaithful the movie.
Yeah. I loved that movie. And
remember that like random guy that she was with in that movie?
yeah, he was wild.
Who is that man?
That movie, we will never cover that movie on this podcast.
No. That will not make Baby's First Watch.
I loved it though.
Actually, we'll informally, just not on,
it's so good.
not on the airwaves.
And Nights in Rodanthe, they have their big moment. So until he gets killed by a mudslide. Why? So those 3. Why? What's your choice?
I'm gonna give you Dear John.
I've seen Dear John.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. I am. If you've listened to our 21 Jump Street episode, I am a full-hearted Channing Tatum fan, and I want to support my guy. I don't want to, but if I was forced to, I would support my guy. And I also love Amanda Seyfried, so I'll support my guy and my girl. And Richard Jenkins is in it. I don't have anything mudslide related to say in this one, unless they drink a mudslide. But
I don't think they do.
it seems too fun for a Nicholas Sparks movie.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go with Dear John for the Channing Tatum and Amanda Seyfried factor.
I like that. I think that's
Was the
fair.
movie bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Yeah. Oh.
Why? Is there another one?
No, I just scrolled up and looked at the plot summary, and the only thing I saw in it was September 11 attacks.
Oh yeah, he goes to war.
Oh, so is Dear John like the letters that she writes to him
Uh-huh.
while he's away at war?
Exactly. But I think his name is also John in it.
No, that's what I mean. Like Dear
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, but Dear John is just like a colloquialism.
I know
too.
it's a double
But
entendre.
I think his name is also
It
John
is.
in it.
it is
Which
John
it's like,
John
ugh.
Tyree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not a good movie.
it doesn't sound like a good movie. I see the word lymphoma.
At least you didn't pick the ghost one.
I see lymphoma. I see coin collection.
Yes.
These are just the things.
All of those things are in the movie Dear John, yes.
I'm going with Dear John.
Okay. That's fine. That is I think that there's a bull riding one too.
These are just like, what's the most preposterous scenario I could come up with?
What makes me sad is that like they all end in tragedy besides The Notebook. Every single one. And I'm like,
Sparks is a bleak dude.
can we just be happy? Drink some mudslides and hang out?
We need a Nicholas Sparks movie where they drink mudslides, assuming that there isn't one already.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get it. Those are
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. I think 3 more of his books have been optioned.
Oh, thank God.
All right, I'm done.
All right. So I don't have any questions. However, we had a lot of listener questions from our friend Gina.
Aunt Gigi.
She's a
Our son's soulmate, she says.
yes,
Because they were born on the same day.
the same day. So she sent us multiple questions, and we appreciate them. And
They're really good questions.
they are better questions than I would have come up with. So again, reminder: if you want us to answer your questions or talk about stuff, send us an email at babiesfirstwatchlist@gmail.com or text us or, DM us on Instagram. We got like 100 new followers like since our last episode.
Pretty cool.
So that's great. So if you're new, welcome, and shoot us your questions. So all right. So Aunt Gina first asked, Team Noah, Team Lon, or Team Finn? Kiss, marry, kill.
Okay. I'll probably pick Lon because he's rich.
Because he's got money.
And he's got money, and he's James Marsden, who's nice.
That's the thing in this movie.
He's really nice.
Lon, there's no issue with. Like, he's not a bad guy.
I'm not gonna pick Finn for obvious reasons.
Kill. Because it happens anyway.
Right. So
you're not changing the course of history here.
So I'll kiss Noah. I'll marry Lon. Is his name Lonard?
I don't know. It just says Lon.
What is Lon?
Loncy?
What does Lon stand for?
What is Lon short for? Alonzo?
Oh, maybe it's Alonzo?
Maybe it's Alonzo.
Okay.
All right, so Lon Chaney, the actor. Let's look at what Lon Chaney's name was. Leonidas. Leonidas Frank Lon Chaney.
Okay.
He was like one of the early like horror stars.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Leonidas. So yeah, that's mine. What's yours?
I think I have the same. I have no problem with like Lon is a good dude. Noah is like he's not a bad guy, but he's a little temperamental.
You think?
He is gloomy.
Emo.
He's got a heaviness around him, and it's like, bro, it's fine.
It is sad though because like there's no mom. They don't mention his mom.
Yeah.
His dad is just like, I'm selling our house, so I'm gonna just die now. And then his dad dies.
Also, the
Sam Shepard.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was good actually.
I thought he was gonna be a bad
bigger
guy.
part. Oh, you thought he was gonna be bad?
Yeah.
No, he's just a kind man.
Yeah.
And then he was like so nice and fun. Like literally, he was so fun.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, you're kind of like
blah
bringing down the place. But then James Gardner picks it back up.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the interesting part is that James Gardner doesn't have that heaviness to him.
Not at all.
But Gosling, for some reason, does.
Because he didn't have his true love.
That's true.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah. Even still, I would probably go Lon.
Me too. I'd rather have a trust fund.
I mean, you got to kill Finn. There's no option. First of all, if you kill Finn, there's a chance that Gotti doesn't get made. Didn't happen in our world. Didn't happen in our world, but he was like at the peak of his fame at that point because Entourage was going on while this movie came out.
Gotti, we do not speak of Gotti.
My dad speaks of Gotti. I don't think he'll be checking this episode out.
Probably not.
All right, so that's that question. We have Gina said, Google told me Britney Spears auditioned to play the role of Allie. Who knows if that is true? But if Britney Spears played Allie, who do you think would have been her Noah? Would she be a good Allie? Who else could have starred as Noah and Allie?
If Britney Spears was Noah, then why not go with Joey Fatone for...
It was supposed to be Justin Timberlake.
Is that supposed to be the answer?
No, that's what it was supposed to be.
I like going a little more underground.
Yeah.
Go with Joey Fatone. He's fresh off of My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yes.
And
his star turn in My Big Fat Greek
On the
Wedding.
Line, starring his
not
Lance Bass.
He's not fresh off My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He's room temp from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
He hasn't done the Christmas specials yet. For like the boy band Christmas specials. He hasn't done Dancing with the Stars yet. So I say Joey Fatone. Justin Timberlake is a hard no.
He would have been an awful Noah.
Yeah.
I don't think that as an actor he has the it factor.
Only when playing Branch.
Only when playing Branch in
Trolls. He can't stop the feeling.
Can't stop the feeling.
Besides that, we're 2004. Who's big in 2004?
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. So
biggest actors in 2004. It's like Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti is on this list. Give me Paul Giamatti in The Notebook as young Noah.
Yeah, I think Paul Giamatti would be good.
Yeah.
And then
does Gina know who Paul Giamatti is?
Did Gina know? You know what? I bet she does. Paul Giamatti was in Big Fat Liar. If you don't know.
Okay.
So she definitely. Who doesn't know Paul
2004
Giamatti?
was like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, you could do him.
There's like Matthew Lillard.
Imagine a Matthew Lillard.
Britney Spears. The Notebook. Sign me up, man. Sign me up. That's it. Just throw me on board.
What about like a Ryan Phillippe?
It would have been someone like that.
Yeah.
Or even like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't quite out of like he hadn't quite become big yet, but
Yeah.
like I could see him trying to pull this off if
I
he would
could
try.
see like a Ryan Phillippe and like Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Christina Ricci, it would be weird seeing her play like a socially acceptable character.
I just saw her on Celebrity Family Feud.
Yeah.
And
Is she weird?
she was in the final, the last ones.
Yeah.
And
Fast Money.
Steve asked her in Fast Money, how many minutes does it take you to go to sleep?
What did she say? Like 400?
She said 312.
5 hours?
And then she got good fault.
What was the answer? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, it was 30 minutes. She said no, but they were nice to her because she actually said 312,000. So I'm just like, girl, she only needed like 60 points to get it, and she actually did, but it was like really close.
Oh man.
And like they gave it to her because she was asked,
it's all at the charity, so
she was asked, what do you put in a dishwasher? And she said dishes. The correct answer was plates, so they gave it to her. Yeah. So she won, but that's 312,000 minutes to fall asleep. And then, after she was like, wait, so it take like weeks?
Yeah. Like every time I try to go to sleep, I'm awake for months before I can fall asleep.
So, Steve was like incredulous. He was like, what?
Okay. Question number 3. It's your first date and the guy tells you to lay down in the middle of the street with him in the middle of the night. Immediate first thoughts?
And what was Gina said hers would be?
What the heck?
Gina would do, what the heck?
What the heck?
And then she'd probably do it.
Yeah.
I would not lay in the street.
You definitely would not. You would be like, what are you doing?
I would be like, okay,
You'd be like, I'm going home. You're embarrassing.
Like, this is so embarrassing. I'm just like going.
You're wearing this hat. First of all, take the hat off.
Like, first of all, it's the 1940s. Like, what is going on?
Cars were like just invented.
What would you do? If I laid in the street and I was like, lay in the street, let's do it.
I would say, what are you doing? Like, I would probably end up doing it, honestly.
Yeah, you would.
I
would be like, absolutely not. I obey all traffic laws.
I would probably do it, but I would not I wouldn't be like, giggling about it like she was.
She was wild.
Yeah. I would be like, okay, that was scary and I don't want to do it again.
I'd be like, what is going on? What do I have gravel
You
in
would
my
just
arms?
be like, why?
Just like, no.
Okay. Question number 4. When Noah built the house, it had to have the wraparound porch and a room for painting. Which, can I just make a statement about this? He built her a room like an art studio, and it literally, she's like, oh my god, this art studio, and it's a hard cut, and then she's painting out on the porch.
Yeah.
He made this entire room for you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What are we doing here, Allie?
Yeah.
And it was during their like 3-day tryst when like her fiance didn't know where she was.
Not nice.
Yeah, but the question is, if you were building a home, what would be your must-haves?
All right, let's get started. I do want to wrap around.
I was going to say the porch for sure.
That's a must. Number 2, nice bathtub.
Yeah.
Gotta have a good bathtub.
Low interest rate.
Number 3, needs a low interest rate. Number 4, benefactor giving me a down payment.
Yes.
A
large down payment.
Large down payment. It also I need a really nice backyard that goes right to the ocean with like a little cliff walk in between.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're talking about the breakers in Newport. You're talking breakers. Okay.
I also want a like really nice Peloton room with weights that go up past 15 pounds.
Why wouldn't it just be a gym with a Peloton bike in it?
I like calling it a Peloton room. And then I need weights that are like 20 pounns.
You're almost there.
I'm
We're
almost
up to
there.
15s.
But we can't afford the 20 pounds.
No. Again, a benefactor. Remember the overarching, like, the umbrella here is that we need a benefactor. Yeah. We need Allie's inheritance.
Reading nook with like a really big bay window.
Okay.
To overlook the ocean.
Yeah.
I also want a really safe tree swing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if those. I think that might be an oxymoron.
You can make it work.
I
also
can't, but somebody could.
Yeah, exactly. I do not want a tree house that's gonna fall on anybody.
No mudslides.
No mudslides.
Yeah.
None
Well,
of that.
the drink mudslide maybe, but
Wow. And I think that's it.
that's it. Okay, that's the reasonable set of demands.
What do you want?
I mean, I'm on board for all that stuff.
Oh, good.
I'm pretty easy to please. I don't care. Give me a bathroom and a bedroom and a living room, and I'm good with a house. As long as I can. Oh, my must-haves in like some of the things that I look around my current house, and I'm like, oh, we could probably do this a little better. A basement where I don't hit my head on the ductwork every single time I walk by it.
Yeah.
Also, laundry on the main floor.
Oh, that is a good one.
My things are like, also a house that isn't built on this sort of ties in with the mudslides, that isn't built on a slight decline so that when it rains and snows, there's a huge like flooding in the back of the backyard.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, I wouldn't want that. But yeah, no. And also everything's free, of course. That's what I want.
Perfect.
Question number 5, the final question. If you're a bird, I'm a bird. Would you want to be a bird? What kind of bird? Also, what is your spirit animal?
So I think, I'll be a bird.
Yeah, why not?
Be an owl.
I would be an owl.
If you're an owl, I'm an. Ooh. And then, my animal connection is probably otter.
Otter. I think mine is an owl.
Ooh.
I think, was it you that said that one time?
I don't remember. Probably. We probably talked about this before.
But on like, obviously all millennials probably have been on Pottermore. Done your
mine's
Patronus.
like a Saint Bernard puppy.
We've definitely talked about this before because I talked about how Jay's
a salmon.
But I was like a leopard or something, and I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. But
Rawr.
Rawr.
Or as our son goes,
every animal is. Yeah. If I had to choose a different kind of bird just for variety's sake, I would.
Toucan?
Huh?
Toucan?
I would want to be one of those that
Pelican?
Like, pelicans are pretty cool, or like flamingos, or like egrets. Yeah.
Ostrich?
Ostrich, no, because they can't fly.
So?
Penguin. I'll be a penguin.
They can't fly?
Yeah, but they're penguins.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Gina. We loved those questions. We answered them all.
They were great.
They're great, and we again encourage anyone who has any questions for our future movies to please let us know, because we like when people ask us questions. All right, what else we got? That's all mine. I literally did not write down a single question, so Gina really saved me for this episode.
Perfect.
We are going to jump to trivia. So Jessica Biel auditioned for the role of Allie in a trailer when she was covered in blood filming on the set of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is awesome.
Amazing.
Ryan Gosling was director Nick Cassavetes' first and only choice for the role of Noah, but before Cassavetes was the director, obviously I mentioned Justin Timberlake, but other people who were attached were Steven Spielberg as director and Tom Cruise as Noah.
Could see that.
It would have been strange, but yeah. Other actresses rumored to have been under consideration were Reese Witherspoon and Ashley Judd. Britney Spears' audition footage was auctioned on eBay for $1 million in May 2021.
Wow.
Number 2. When we are introduced to the young Allie and Noah, they are wearing the same colors worn by the older ones in the beginning of the movie. This was to give us a clue.
Little hint.
Yeah. Number 3. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams were both born in St. Joseph's Hospital in London, Ontario, Canada.
So cool.
Which is random. There's like so many people that are just Canadian.
Yeah. Who
and
did
Australian.
I see was just Canadian today? Keanu Reeves.
He's Canadian?
He's Canadian. He was born in Lebanon, and then
I knew he was born somewhere
but
weird.
He's Canadian.
His parents are Canadian?
His dad, I think lived in Hawaii.
Okay.
But he ended up being estranged from his dad.
Oh.
So his mom
he was
raised him, and he was
Toronto.
raised in Toronto.
That's crazy.
I did a whole Keanu Reeves deep dive. He had a very sad life.
His mom is English. His American father is from Hawaii, and he's Native Hawaiian, Chinese, English, Irish, and Portuguese. And he was born in Lebanon.
Right.
Go figure. So
I wasn't lying.
No, I didn't think you were. I just wanted to get the details. We're not really detail oriented, so we often have to
got
follow
all
up
the
on
details.
We didn't tell me he was Chinese and stuff.
Well,
I wanted all the details.
okay.
You led me there.
I did.
Number 4, Ryan Gosling wore brown eye contacts because James Garner has brown eyes and Gosling has blue eyes.
I just don't think that matters all that much, to be honest with you.
Well, because in the end, when James Garner is looking at the photos, it's not Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah,
so
the continuity is weird.
the story we're watching is supposed to be like some sort of idealized version of the two of them, like some storybook version of them.
So it doesn't even need to be.
So why would the eyes be like in the pictures? Allie has blonde hair. Rachel McAdams never has blonde hair. So like if they were matching the eyes, why didn't they match the hair?
I don't know, man.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
The movie doesn't make any sense. Anyway, number 5. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams did not get along at all during the filming of this movie. There were, like, I don't know if it's true, but there were stories about them, like, butting heads and yelling at each other, like, in a trailer. Like, I don't think it was anything where it was, like, anyone was, like
being mean,
bad to each other, but it was tense, and they sort of didn't like each other, and it was not a great work environment. But Nick Cassavetes brought them into a room, and they just sort of hashed it all out, and he was there as, like, the mediator or whatever. And then they started dating after the movie came out, like a couple years after.
Yep.
So they were fine.
Yeah.
And they talk good about each other now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my trivia. Trivia for this one was kind of hard. There wasn't all that much. But it was also kind of good because I like the hospital thing. I like the Canada thing.
Yeah, that was neat.
All right. Roger Ebert. So
I saw it and I'm like confused.
Roger Ebert gave this movie 3.5 stars out of 4.
Am I changing my mind now?
Me?
Am I changing my mind?
No. I mean, I'm not. But here's what he said about the movie. He said, "We all wish Alzheimer's could permit such moments," because he was talking about how she had brief windows of remembering him and all that. "For a time in the earlier stages of the disease, it does, but when the curtain comes down, there is never another act and the play is over. The Notebook is a sentimental fantasy, but such fantasies are not harmful. We tell ourselves stories every day to make life more bearable." And then he goes along and says, "The photography by Robert Froissart is striking in its rich, saturated effects, from seabirds at sunset to a dilapidated mansion by candlelight to the texture of southern summer streets. It makes the story seem more idealized. Certainly the retirement home at the end seems more of heaven than of earth. And the old mansion is underlined too, first in its decay and then in its rebirth. Young Noah is convinced that if he makes good on his promise to rebuild it for Allie, she will come to live in it with him and paint in the studio he has made for her. Noah had gone a little mad," the Notebook says. "That she is engaged to marry another shakes him, but doesn't discourage him. We have recently read much about Alzheimer's because of the death of Ronald Reagan," which I guess happened around this time. "His daughter Patty Davis reported that just before he died, the former president opened his eyes and gazed steadily into those of Nancy, and there was no doubt that he recognized her. Well, it's nice to think so. Nice to believe the window can open once more before closing forever."
Wow. Ebert, even when he's wrong, he's right.
He knows how to write.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to be persuasive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with him. I think the movie's terrible, but good for him.
Yeah, that's nice.
Good for you, Roger.
And you know what? Even in cases where, and it's not, again, I didn't hate this movie, but
it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's just very boring and way too long.
Even when I disagree with him, he can make a movie that I didn't really think was very good.
He can give you a different way to think about it
with his excellent writing.
Yeah. So our final segment, actually, I didn't talk about the tagline this time. "Behind every great love is a great story,"
which I think is a fair.
It's an appropriate
tagline for this movie. It's not as fun as the ones from 21 Jump Street.
No, it's not, including the one that I couldn't say that's
exactly
on the poster. Okay. So for my deep dive this week, this was a hard one. But what I did was...
Well, I'm confused now because this person apparently is saying weird stuff that isn't true.
What do you mean?
Miley Cyrus's name in the last song.
It doesn't say necessarily that it's Miley Cyrus's name. Maybe there is a character in the movie with that name.
Okay.
So it was an article written in 2016 for the Las Vegas Review-Journal by Christopher Lawrence. And
sometimes do you think of like that year or earlier and be like, oh,
bliss.
If only you knew.
This was February 2016.
If only you knew.
So The Choice was coming out, which was the 11th film adaptation in the SCU. And this person decided to watch the first 10 of them because he had never seen any of them before. And he wrote down 70 things I learned from watching Nicholas Sparks movies. So I'm not going to go through all 70 unless we want this episode to be 3 hours. And
No.
I'll just go through some of them. I actually haven't read it all the way through, so I'm just going to sort of skim through and go as I go. Here's what this soul learned on this journey. Number 1, each of these movies takes place in small towns that are part of a magical realm, let's call it Sparksylvania, that encompasses most of the coastal regions of the Carolinas, a swath of Chicago, and occasionally, because of film tax incentives, a bit of Georgia and Louisiana. Number 2, Sparksylvania is a torturous hellscape of unrelenting misery.
Yeah.
Number 3, true love never dies, but there's an extraordinarily good chance that at least one of the people you love most will. Then again, number 4, everybody loves a widower. Number 5, proper, often preposterously wealthy Sparksylvania girls are inexplicably drawn to blue-collar boys of questionable upbringings. Number 6, that formula has been inverted exactly once in the last song when a wealthy beach volleyball player, Liam Hemsworth, was smitten with a sullen shoplifter, Miley Cyrus. 7, it wasn't an improvement. 8, regardless of advances in technology, Sparksylvanians simply refuse to stop writing letters.
Yeah, there's a lot of letters.
Number 10, life's biggest moments always, without fail, take place in the rain.
Wow.
11, adult Sparksylvanians do not in any way resemble or even remotely sound like their teenage selves. 12, they also tend to grow or shrink a couple of inches. 13, there's almost always a dance. 14, seriously, I can't emphasize this enough. If things are going too well for too long in Sparksylvania, someone simply must die. Usually in the most random, nonsensical, unintentionally hilarious way. So then he goes through each movie and gives a couple for each movie. Message in a bottle. I'll do like one from each movie. 16, people who write letters in a bottle inevitably look not like creepy recluses, but just like Kevin Costner in his prime. A Walk to Remember. We have, so there's a kid who, there's a prank and the kid like almost dies or whatever. And number 25 is, you can visit that kid in his rehab facility, mumble a half-hearted apology, and he'll be like, that's cool, bro, whatevs. And then also, girls will straight up not tell you they're dying from leukemia.
Yeah.
Which we talked about. So I'll give you all the Notebook ones. There's 4 of them. 31. There's no problem so big it can't be cured by spending some time in a rowboat or a canoe. Which is exactly what happens in this movie. 32. Everything sounds better when spoken by a fabulously mustachioed Southern gentleman, which was the dad. Rachel McAdams' dad had the mustache.
Sydney Lauper's husband in real life.
Number 33. The greatest love stories can involve people who don't even seem to like each other very much. And number 34. Apparently you can love someone so much that love will just kill the both of you in your sleep.
I think that's probably a good way to end it, Tom.
Except for in the lucky one when Zac Efron has never been able to keep his shirt on. So yeah, that is a Las Vegas Review-Journal article. 70 Things I Learned in Sparksylvania.
Very funny. There's
a Bull Rider movie. Did we talk about that one?
Yeah, I mentioned the Bull
Scott
Rider.
Eastwood, Longest Ride.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Pond swimming is the most romantic of all swimming, which also applies to the Notebook, I think.
Pond swimming.
But oh yeah, because she swings on the rope into the pond. Remember? Yeah. So this deep dive isn't exactly as educational as some of our previous ones,
but it's funny.
But yeah, I mean, I like when people will do that. Like, I watched all the Fast and Furious movies before Furious 7, like all in a row. I love when people just like binge a whole series to watch something, even when they're not interested in it. Like, I didn't care about Furious 7, but like I had to watch all of them because why not?
Yeah.
And I love when people just get into random stuff like that.
Yeah.
Will I be watching every movie in the Sparks verse? Probably not, but
maybe.
But I would say probably not. I'm leaving it open. Okay, I think that's it.
Love.
I think that's the Notebook. The one and only Notebook. Okay, so does the Notebook make Baby's first watch list?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tepidly, he says.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways?
True love conquers all.
Except for death.
Well, they still have love. Love is through
And I guess that depends
the
if you believe in
nurse.
an afterlife or not.
Well, here's the thing. Their love continues on in not just the nurse that saw them, but in the notebook that is now going to be passed down to their kids. And Noah and Allie's love story will reverberate
Will be made into a movie.
through the spirits of all who knew them.
Okay.
Love conquers all.
Here's mine. Please don't hang from a Ferris wheel to coerce someone into dating you, and then on your first date, don't lay down in the middle of the street and make her do it too.
That also is a very good takeaway.
Also, don't wear that hat. Please don't wear that hat. That's not an outright prescription. Like, I'm not saying you can't wear that hat, but just please don't. Yeah, so that is The Notebook, and we made it, I think. We made it. So, yeah, so we're going to do next week. In fact, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, the day it comes out, it will be up at noon today. So if it's past noon Eastern, where you're listening to this, on September 5th, go to our Instagram at Baby's First Watch List, and you can vote on which Wes Anderson movie we're going to do for next week.
I don't know if I'm excited about this.
We're going to choose from, or you're going to choose from, Fantastic Mr. Fox,
Me?
The Royal Tenenbaums, and The Grand Budapest Hotel. We've seen a couple of them. We talked about it last episode. Don't take that into consideration. Doesn't matter. Pick which one you want to hear us talk about. And I'm excited for it because, I don't know, they're movies that, like, I mean, I've chosen to watch one of them, but I'm not really going to choose to watch the others probably. So I like hearing what people want us to talk about. So I think it'll be a pretty good episode. And so, yeah, do that. And that's it, I think. This is The Notebook, and I hope you liked it. And if you're birds, we're also birds.
And they just fly away.
Yeah, so vote in the poll, send us some questions, and we will see you next week for whatever Wes Anderson movie it ends up being. Whatever very parallel and, what's the word? Symmetrical movie it is. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.